Okay. Okay, welcome to Chem 111. This is Basic Life Chemistry, summer of 2020, the year of the attack of the COVIDians. Yes, they've come all to get us, all right? And so, coronavirus, pretty cool thing, actually, all right? Viruses are pretty interesting things. Technically, they're not alive. What they are is they're just packages of genetic material, and they're outside. This guy, little here, the outside of it, not the little pokey things, okay, the little spikes, but this part here, the outside, are lipids. The spiky things are proteins. Okay, and what happens is the spiky things attached, the spike is called spike proteins, attached to cell receptors on your cells. And what it does is that there's genetic material inside this guy here. And what it does is it injects it into your cell. Okay, and so it has RNA, which is not DNA, which is interesting. And what it does is it ships the RNA to your cells. And what the cells do is they take the RNA and they make the proteins to make more of this guy. So what the virus kind of does is hijacks the machinery of our cells to make more of itself. Viruses, one reason they're not alive is that they don't need any energy or don't produce any energy. They're just blobs of information flying around. Now we're gonna so if you want to kill a virus, you can't kill it because it's not alive. What you can do is you can destroy it. Okay, and the way that you destroy it is with soap. And the way that soap works is that it destroys the lipid membrane of the virus. Okay, so you're probably going, why is Scully talking about this? And that's who I am, Scully, and I'll be telling you in a minute. Is because we will be covering lipids, and we will find out why they form this shape. Okay, we will talk about proteins. Okay, and we'll also be talking about RNA and DNA. So this guy here actually covers just about everything we're talking about in the class. We'll also be talking about a couple other types of molecules, but he's a little guy getting his going. Okay, syllabus. So now it's a little confusing. So Blackboard. So if you go to Blackboard, go to the sidebar, you'll notice that it says syllabus, and you click on syllabus, and it gives you, I believe, 3 options: part 1, part 2, and part 3. Now your first inclination may be go part 1, okay, but that's not what you do. Okay, part 2 is where we'll have the specifics of this semester. Part 1 is basically just laying out the standards of what this overall going to cover and what's expected of the class. But part 2 is what we're going to do and what I'm going to cover right now. So this class again is called the Basic Chemistry of Life Processes. Hi, my name is Dr. Joshua Scully. You can just call me Scully. That's a great Irish name. I've been teaching at Edison for 6.5 years. I've been teaching some sort of chemistry for the last 25 years. I got my PhD in 1990 at Wayne State University, Detroit. I'm a Michigan man. I know, boo, but go blue. I used to live in Ann Arbor for 10-11 years, and my beloved Wolverines will someday take care of those wicked Buckeyes. But that's here and there, and I'll be able to stand proudly on that someday. But these days, not so much. But anyway, so you can just call me Scully, Professor Scully, Dr. Scully. That's fine. I got my PhD yeah, actually in the materials that we'll be covering. So this class here is dear to my heart because it's material I spent 9-10 years working on. Okay. To get in this course, you should have had Chem 110 or a high school chemistry class. Okay. Now, there's 2 email addresses, and there's 2 different reasons you should use them. There's my Edison account and there's my Gmail account. Okay. The reason why I have 2 separate ones is because the Edison account doesn't have a whole lot of space to collect all the homework and etc. for the online stuff. Gmail has infinite space to collect things. Okay. So all the work that you're going to do, the assigned work, you should then send that to scullyedison@gmail.com. Like the first assignment that I just gave you about who you are. And so, I mean, I just want to get, you know, one thing I don't like about what we're doing is that I really appreciate having face-to-face interaction with students, because you can see how you guys are learning. Each student is individually different, and it's always nice to see a nice set of fresh faces that want to learn, hopefully, and kind of makes my job what I like about it. That's one of the main reasons I am a teacher. So when you send in your videos or little blurbs about yourself, I really appreciate that. Thank you for them. You don't have to say a whole lot. Just want to see, put a name to a face, and maybe even how you interact, how you portray yourself a little bit. So thank you very much for that. If you have any questions or concerns about anything, email me at Edison's account. Okay, that way it's more personal and I can get to that. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over what to be expected from the class. Okay, so as I shuffled, so what I have here is basically what's found in the syllabus. Okay, so course coverage. Number 1, the tentative schedule is below is what is covered, and the assessments, and I'll go over that when I get to the bottom here. Okay, the course will primarily be PowerPoints that I lecture to, just like I'm doing now. I will post these on YouTube and give you the link in the announcements. So it's really important that you check your announcement continuously. All right. Now, hopefully, you check your email from Edison, you know, at least once or twice a day, especially these days. Okay, you know, before online classes were mandatory, you probably didn't think about checking it as much, but now I tell you, there will be maybe 3, 4, 5 announcements that go out a week. Okay, that's because things, I may have to add things, take things away, change, or whatever. So be ready for just checking your emails. So I will post the link of the YouTube link to the lecture on YouTube, and then you can click to it and listen to it, just like you're going to do now. I will also post the no voice PowerPoint on Blackboard in the sidebar. So over in the left hand corner, when you click on that and you get to Blackboard, there'll be a column on the left that'll give you, that's where you find the syllabus and etc. You'll see like for this one, you'll see PowerPoint for intro class, for intro. Okay, intro PowerPoint. Okay, and that'll be the no voice. The link will be posted in the announcements. Number 3, tests will be online through Blackboard and will be announced a week in advance. I will post them. I'll post the test. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll say that the test is due Excuse me, phone's ringing. All right. Okay, so I'll say like the test is going to be open, will be available to you, like June 4th at 9 a.m. And I'll say you have from 9 a.m. June 4th to June 6th, 9 p.m. to do it. When you go and take the test, and there'll be a link on the side in the sidebar again to the test. So once you go to the test, you got to do it all in one shot. You'll have up to 90 minutes to do it. Okay. And after if you haven't finished in 90 minutes, it'll close off the test. Now, usually the tests in my classes are usually an hour and 15 minutes. Usually students get them done in an hour. So you should have enough time to get it done in 90 minutes. Okay, there'll be multiple choice, true, false, and short answers. Each test will be worth 100 points. Okay, there'll also be worksheets. One thing, the worksheets is that I'll send them out to you. Like, what'll work is that after PowerPoint, I'll send you out a worksheet. And that worksheet will cover, basically give it an outline of questions that related to the material which was on the PowerPoint. Okay, I will ask for that to be done by a certain date and time. And when you hand them in to me, when you send them to me, you send them to the Gmail account. I will look at them. It's hard to assess every question and give you critical answers and responses to all of them. What I will do is that if you do much of anything, if you even try to do them and do them decently, you get probably around 7 points, okay? If you do them and it looks like you've done it mostly right, you'll get 10 points. Like I said, there's a definite deadline. If you don't get them in by that deadline, you'll get a 0. Okay, there's no leeway on that. Okay, so just get them in. After the deadline, I will send out the answers so that you can compare your answers to what I have. And then if you have questions, okay, so if you have questions about your, you look and go, I'm not sure why I don't understand this answer, how it seems like I got it, am I right, my answer right, or is it wrong? Send that to my Edison account and I will let you know about that. Okay, and then the answer sheet will tell you what it is. Now this will be a really good review for the test. Okay, typically when I teach this class, what I do is I give a whole period to doing a review, and it's possible I could be doing that as well. I might be doing a review PowerPoint of for each PowerPoint, but that just seems redundant. Okay, other thing, Zoom or any kind of other media interaction. Zoom seems to be the one to use, but I noticed that Google has Team and others, but I think I might, since I sort of figured out Zoom a little bit, I may be using it, but I won't be using whole class sessions. But instead what I'll do is like have at least once a week sessions where students can get a hold of me, ask me questions about the material we're covering. And I might set up 2 or 3 sessions a week so that you can, just in case you can't do one, you can do another. I may even ask you guys what's a good time for who wants to do this and what's a good time for you guys to do that. Okay, so let's work on that and see how that works out. Okay, Blackboard is your lifeblood here. Okay, pay attention to Blackboard announcements. Like I said, each announcement I put up will go to your email, and then so check your email. Like I said, there could be up to a half dozen announcements a week. I hope not, but this class actually starts moving quickly. It's a 16-week class in an 8 or 9 week, so there's a lot of material we got to cover, and so sometimes things need to be adjusted just a little bit so that and you guys got to be aware of it. Okay, cheating. Don't do it. Okay, it's not tolerated and will not. You just don't do it. Okay, if anything is lifted from the internet or you copy anything, like from, I can tell from another student, I will know it. I mean, I always know it. It's so easy to tell when somebody has lifted something from the internet. Okay, it's just, I'll just look and go, I know where they got that from. Okay, Wikipedia or whatever. Okay, don't do that. All right, if it's because you're afraid to fail, I'll tell you this. Right, so let's say you take a test and you don't know all the material, and you get a 59 on it. Okay, now 59 is an F. Okay, so you failed that test. Okay, right, now let's say you got on a test, you got an 85, but you lifted some stuff from the internet, and I find out. Well, you get a 0. All right, now both of these are failing grades, 59 and 0. Notice this is that even though this is 59 is failing, it's 59 points more than 0. Okay, so these 59 points will count. The 0 don't count. All right, so just bear with it, and try it. I try to make sure that all the students get at least a C in the class. I try to work that for you guys. So what you need to do is you just need to try. Okay, so my computer just died. I'll have to see how this came. It's hopefully I left off where it is. Hopefully you didn't hear me say a curse word right there. Okay, it wasn't bad. It was like darn. Okay, okay, so that's so much for cheating. Okay, so by the way, if you do use something from the internet, tell me where you got it and why you used it. Okay. Bonus points. Okay, so the other thing is, yes, there will be bonus points. So I know this all sounds like doom and gloom with cheating, but bonus points, like you already got bonus points. If you send in that little blurb about yourself, little video blurb, you get those points are free. Okay, 10 to 15 points. All right, so they're padding points. Take advantage of it. Okay, also at the end of the semester, you will have presentations. The presentations will be more specific about this. The plan is for each student or pair of students to video record a PowerPoint or presentation, or however you want to present. The topic can be concerning the current topic, medical and health field, which should be pretty abundant stuff these days. Okay. And I'll give you links to where you can find material, and I'll give you more information about this after July 4th, but they'll typically between the tentative schedule. So here's tentative schedule. When I get done with this, before Monday, you will receive this PowerPoint and this this PowerPoint here called Intro to Chemistry Life, which talks about the big picture and the basic atoms and bonding and so forth. And then by the middle of next week, there'll be another PowerPoint. Okay, these two PowerPoints will be balled up into the first test. There'll be a worksheet related to primarily to this right here, and we just got to see how that works. But what you'll notice is that there'll be a test the following week. The following week I start new material, and there'll be another worksheet. And so what you'll notice is that we will be covering new material before we take the test from the previous material. Okay, so it starts, the ball could, if you don't stay on top of things and through time management, it could get pretty crazy. Okay, so and I would, through announcements, I'll try to keep things in line and make sure that you guys are going steady. Okay, so I have sections here. I don't have weeks because it turns out it's not exactly, section 1 doesn't, there's only 5 sections and we have 8 or 9 weeks. So so each section is going to be approximately between 1 and 2 weeks long. Okay, so but here's what we'll be covering in the through the semester. Okay, there you go. And again, if you notice what I started talking about at the very beginning here, we talked about the lipids and the coronavirus, about the protein spikes and nucleic acids, the RNA. So this section right here, you'll be hard. I could even end up talking about the coronaviruses, explaining our material in this class. All right, the grading of this class as it stands now, and it's subject to change. There will be 5 tests, each one worth 100 points. The worksheets up to 10 points, and the presentation will be 75. So right now, there's a possible 625 points. Now your grades is going to be simply percentage based on that. So if you get 90% of 625, that would be 562 to 650. Sorry, this should be 625. But so the total number of points times 0.9 is an A. 625 times 0.8 B. 625 times 0.7 C. 625 times 0.7 is a D. Okay. All right, so that covers the what you need to know to get us going. I hope. If you have any questions or concerns about if you see you're not sure or unclear about something here, email me at Edison account, and I will be posting this on YouTube and giving you a link to it and the announcements, and the no video version will show up in the in the sidebar as well. Okay, so hopefully that's it, and welcome to my class, and let's get it going. All right. Okay, I guess there's a little more here, and this just give you a background and of the class, and it's posted in the syllabus as well. And so I thought I'd go over a little bit of it and see how, just give you a heads up on what this class is about and how you should direct yourself in trying to listen to me and how I'm talking about things. So this class really is a study of biological macromolecules, and we'll talk about that in the first slide. But biological means life, macro means big, and molecules. So we'll talk about that word. So it's life, big molecules. And there's essentially 4 of them: carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. And we'll be covering each one of those. As you already heard in the very first slide, we talked about these 3 right here. Each of these molecules is composed of only 3 atoms mostly. Okay, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So everything you learned in Chem 110 or Intro Chem, well, it really narrows down and just talks about a very, very small population of atoms, and we'll talk about that next slide. The size of the molecules that we're going to talk about are huge, okay? And you will see that in the PowerPoint. So in your introductory chem class, we just talked about tiny molecules. It's incredible how tiny the molecules we talk about in class. These molecules are going to just make these guys look like tiny, 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 tiny ants. Okay, so and what's interesting is we make these giant molecules just out of basically these 2 atoms right here, carbons and hydrogens, and sometimes oxygens and nitrogens. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about carbohydrates first, and then lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Now, how does nature know how to make these giant molecules? Well, just like we build houses from bricks. We just don't, throw a molding out and pour a giant block. I guess some people could, and make a building. Okay, what you do is you take a bunch of bricks and you build a building. Well, each one of these molecules have bricks. Carbohydrates have saccharides. Lipids have fatty acids. Proteins have amino acids, and nucleic acids have nucleotides. Okay, so key thing here is building blocks make the macromolecules. And the way the direction of work is that the chemicals, so all living molecule, all these molecules are mostly made out of hydrogen and carbons. That field of chemistry is known as organic chemistry. So we're going to do a little bit of study of that. And then what we're going to do is go into our specifics and start talking about biological chemistry or biochemistry. Okay, and so forth. What we'll do is you'll see this. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start out with hydrocarbons, and what you're going to do is you're going to add these groups, these chemical groups, to the hydrocarbons. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to take a hydrocarbon and add what we call a hydroxyl and a carbonyl, and what we'll do is we'll end up having a saccharide, a monosaccharide, like glucose. And then you can combine glucoses to make starch or glycogen. Then what we'll do is we'll add more functional groups. So we're going to start out with our chains, our hydrocarbons, and we're going to add functional groups. And then with the functional groups, we'll make up our building blocks. And from our building blocks, we will make our macromolecules. Okay, and the other trend that's in this class is that structure leads to function. So, and we'll talk about it more in the first slide. And this is just anything in nature, and we'll talk about that as well. Is that what we'll do in this class is I'll talk about, after we build these individual building blocks, we'll see what's special about why they're made the way they are. Why, and that they were made for a specific function. And then when you put them together, they will make these giant structures that also have jobs. So another key to this class, not just the building blocks of making the macromolecules, is that structure leads to function. And in the very first PowerPoint, I'll spend more time dealing about all this and basic chemistry that you will need to know. Okay, so that does end it from here.